Hello, welcome back to Waves of Thinking. My name is Alana. I am joined by Carissa Luch from Sargento, and she yesterday gave a wonderful presentation on connecting data dots that drive decision making. Would you like to introduce yourself, Carissa?
Sure. As she said, my name is Carissa Luch, and I'm a director of insights at Sargento. I've had the opportunity to work with several great CPG companies throughout my career. And one of the things that I've been doing lately is AI and working that into a workflow to help connect the dots.
Yeah, connecting the dots so important because without connecting the dots, we deal with siloed data. So can you tell us a little bit about what really is the impact of having these siloed data sources and how that breaking those silos down can help an insights team?
Yeah, absolutely. One of the reasons why we tend to see siloed teams is because the people that the insights team work on are in teams that don't communicate on a daily basis.
Yeah.
So, for example, when I work on consumer insights, I don't necessarily have visibility to what the sales team is doing. When I work on the sales team as a shopper insight provider, I didn't have a sense for what brands were actually doing. So, what tends to happen is you get in your own work stream and you really either have no direct contact with those teams or you forget that they are there or you just never learned to do it to begin with. And what happens when we do that is we lose a large amount of information that can help us make better strategic decisions. So when you break down that data, what you see is a more complete picture. Think about each one of those silos as a piece of the puzzle. And when you aren't doing, when you don't have all the pieces, you miss some of the bigger picture issues. And what we tend to have is we have misaligned strategies and missed opportunities because we didn't have all the information.
I love that. I love the idea of not thinking about it as a silo, but as pieces of a greater puzzle. That is really a wonderful analogy for that.
What's really cool is that this has been something that has really started to take root in the last 5 to 10 years. Really understanding that more insights is a good thing, especially if they're useful.
Yeah, definitely. Before it was kind of like a data overload, but now with AI, that's changed a lot.
Yes.
And that really brings me to my next question, which it relies on what you said, which is thinking about generative AI, not as a replacement, but as an amplifier in the insights world. So when you consider, that strategy, how can folks apply that? What does that mean to insights teams? And how can folks like yourself in other organizations apply that?
Better?
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, absolutely. So when we think about the amount of information that an organization has, it becomes very clear that you can't really go through a year or two worth of data across 5 different silos and really have a good sense for what's happening, not withstanding the fact that you also take a lot of time to do that.
Sure.
So with generative AI, what we've been able to do is put all of those information sources into one spot and then use generative AI to begin to identify what's in there. We have it go in and sort based on a question or a prompt or whatever it is we need at that point in time. And then it will bring back to us some initial trends and things that really we should be looking at. And then it helps us craft the dialogue. So we have the ability to cut off that first 80% of the work and really focus on that back end 20%, which is where you take those drafts and create something that is ready to go to senior level in the C-suite. And what we found is that we can take that information, take it through the human in the loop, which is incredibly important, and create something that when we go to the boardroom and we say to the CEO, this is what we want to do and this is why, they have absolutely no misunderstanding about what we're talking to, and they have the decision information that they need to make, in some cases, $1 million decisions.
Sure. Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
it's been very helpful to be able to do that. I can give you a really quick example that I thought was interesting. When I was on baking, I was in Shopper, and I talked to moms or people who were shopping to get baking needs and then bake them. And one of the places this is interesting is that when you're actually baking, it's all about showing your love to the people that you're going to be giving this
Very
treat to.
emotional.
Very emotional. But when you're buying the ingredients, it's something that is much more rational.
Sure.
You know what you need and you want to get it at the best value possible. And so when you know that, you can actually create marketing that talks to them pre-store more emotionally and then
Mhm.
in-store much more rationally, and you have a better chance of converting that sale.
Absolutely. That's such a great example of how when you connect all of those pieces of all of those insights together, I believe you said true insight is an aha moment. It's universally true, and then it makes you say, duh, I should have known that, which is kind of what you just talked
Yeah,
about.
yeah, absolutely. It's kind of fun because I have a background in psychology, and
Yeah.
so taking that psychological background and applying it to consumer insights, to shopper insights, etc., I've had the opportunity to really see that and really drill it into the minds of the people I work with.
Mhm.
So that has become a litmus test for, did I
Absolutely.
find an insight? Does it go across generations?
Yeah.
Did it surprise you? And then did you go, oh, how did I not know that?
I love it. I think we should leave it there. What do you
Okay,
think?
that sounds good. Thank
Wonderful.
you.
Thank you for joining us,
Yep.
Carissa. This has been Ways of Thinking. We'll see you next time. Bye.